Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Mark Show. So, today we're going to cover the topic of relationships. Relationships are so broad when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to yourself, or when it comes to the person you're with, or if you and that person are breaking up, or even when it comes to your professional relationships, things like that. So, we're going to cover uh all of that within this playlist that I'm going to be building together, putting together for you guys, so that way you can actually have an outline and choose what will work best for you. Okay, so today we are going to cover, let's see what we're going to do today. So today we are going to cover five ways, learning the five ways to know if you are in a healthy relationship. All right, so the one thing about being in a relationship is that, you know, eh, I've been in them. I'm sure you have. Many of us have. Whether you're in whether you're in any type of relationship, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all go through the same issues, which is basically, do I love this person? Is this working? You move past all that honeymoon phase or the beginning of everything where you're so nostalgic behind this person actually liking you and seeing you as a human being on planet Earth. You're now at a place where you're like, man, I really want to be with this person and I want to make it work. So today we're going to cover the main five ways to know if why it doesn't work, but also why it could. All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is, do you and your person have the same life goals? So most times in life, um, we're all going through different things, right? And we all have different paths that we're on where we be like, we really feel connected to. This is our purpose. This is what we believe in. And so sometimes you might find yourself with a person where y'all literally have two different goals in life. I have a friend of mine's where he was in a relationship, and for him, he wanted to be a music artist or build a business and become successful. He had visions and whole lay out his dreams. And a girl that he was with, he pretty much she wanted to stay around the way. And so sometimes, you might be like, well, how come can't that work? Can't that situation work? And most times it does. The problems come in is when you are inflexible when it comes to the person that you're with. So let's say, for example, I'm a homebody and this person is an adventurer. They love to explore, they love to see the world, they love to try new things, and you're a homebody. Well, after a while, in the beginning, it's going to seem cool. I'm going to drink my coffee, y'all. So, I'm doing this late at night, so I got to make this happen. So, in the beginning, you are you're caught up in the feeling of being around this person. You're trying to make it work. But what happens is that now you're trying to also figure out, okay, is this person going to hold me back? And sometimes that can happen. And sometimes it's not necessarily the person standing in your way. Sometimes it's what they believe in. Like sometimes people grow up believing that, being at home or being a stay-at-home wife or being that person who raised their children from home or being, staying within a certain, neighborhood and culture, it really gives you a sense of an identity. Whereas for certain other people, they're like, they want to explore life. They want to adventure out. And then sometimes you get fortunate enough where you meet people who are in the middle. But that usually, sometimes with people, they might get that earlier on in life, and sometimes later on in life. But either way, you're usually trying to meet those people who are usually trying to find out, okay, if this person's a good fit for me. This person is where I need to be at in my life. Is this person going to match where I'm trying to go? And that's the main thing that you have to look at. So when it comes down to you and the person having the same life goals, that's a key thing, because if y'all don't have the same life goals, then eventually, unless they're supporting you in an area where you're weak, or maybe you may struggle with, um, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to maintain that relationship, because after a while, you're what the demands that come with your lifestyle and demands that come with that other person's lifestyle, it'll start to affect your relationship. And you'll get frustrated. You'll be like, man, I want you to change. I want you to be a better person. I want you to see things from my perspective. Want you to be more adventurous. Want you to be more of this, more of that. And the first mistake we all make, men, women, doesn't matter, is that they get to this place where they believe that they know everything, and they feel like the person that they're with they're going to change this person. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell y'all this. You might like me, might not after this, but who cares? When it all comes down to it, you cannot change people. If you're trying to change a person, it's usually because of something an area in yourself that you'll never want to change. So you'll have this person conform to you, even if that person is unhappy, right? Most times when you meet people, depending on their age bracket or wherever they're at in life, true love comes from accepting a person for who they are, and also supporting that person in their own evolution, not in your evolution, their own evolution. Because sometimes, as people grow, they're going to do things that might not align exactly with you, but them doing things for themselves might be to the benefit of the relationship and in the growth of it. So keep that in mind next time you're in a relationship and you're like, man, you know what? Am I really accepting this person for who they are? Am I really accepting them and loving them unconditionally? Am I really making time for them? Do I really see them for who they are? Am I trying to change them? And just make sure that you and that person actually have the same goals, right? Because if you don't have the same goals, then at the end of the day, it's very, very easy, very, very simple to lose that attraction, to lose that love, because you guys don't have the same mission, the same objective. Yes, it might be because of the sex, or it might be because of the chemistry, but that goes away after a while. Eventually, you still need that bond and that deep connection in order for things to grow and evolve. All right, y'all. So we're going to move on to our next question. Um, the next thing is, do you have similar or complementary belief systems? So here's the thing about your belief system. Your belief system ultimately determines if you and that person, um, y'all come from the same faith, how you define love, right? Because some people define love as like, hey, I love you. Let's break up in 6 months. Um, right? Or some people is like, I love you. Let's ride this till the wheels fall off. And then you got the people who is, I love you, but I love you in theory. I'm not trying to actually be with you. I just want to, quote unquote, just have this feeling of and embrace the nostalgia of being in a relationship. Everybody um, has different belief systems, but the main thing is really understanding if the person that you want to be with has the same belief system as you, because that's the key thing. Like if you and that person don't have the same belief system, majority of times that's not your relationship is just not going to work out, because what happens is that you might want to put more into it, and when it comes down to it, the other person might want to put a little bit less, and most times there's going to be frustration with that. But if you and that person have the same belief system, then even if y'all go through arguments, which happen in any relationship or you know or any situation that you're in, you're going to go through arguments, you're going to go through disagreements. That's fine, that's normal. But if your belief system is like, okay, we're going to talk about this tonight, or we're going to make sure that we resolve this issue, or we're going to let me shut up, let me listen to you, right? Here, that belief system matters, or let me try to be more thoughtful when it comes down to how you feel, right? That belief system matters. Some people, everybody doesn't have that. Some people just feel like stalking you to death is actually a great belief system. All right, if I'm on him all the time, how's he going to cheat on me if I'm outside his job, right? But the truth is that it doesn't work out like that. That's not a healthy belief system. So there's healthy ones and there's unhealthy ones, and later on I'll go into that. But majority of the time is like you have to understand it. As long as you and that person have the same belief system, then you know that okay, I can actually build a relationship with this person. We can actually get in this for the duration of whatever it may be. Some people it's for the long haul. Again, some people it's for 3 to 6 months. And sometimes people might say, well, I don't believe in that. But sometimes you also have to keep this in mind. How you define love is not always going to be something that is conscious. It's going to be something that's subconscious. So, your subconscious is really what you wind up doing. How you wind up behaving, how you wind up responding to things. And so you're not on the other end of, how you deal with things or your pattern. You just see it as, no, that's not who I am. That's not what I believe in. And that sometimes it's a part of it where it's like you kind of have a sense of your own identity. And then sometimes you can also have a sense of that part of you where you're just delusional and you don't want to change and you want people to conform to who you are in order for you to have some sense of control, right? So again, belief systems matter. Everyone everyone's belief system is different, but you have to make sure that y'all have the same belief system. Like I'm a firm believer, like give an example for me. I'm a firm believer that even if you're in a relationship, you have two people who are leading, you know, who have things in common and they can come together. I'm the type of person where, hey, if I'm in it for the long haul, right? But I need to really make sure that this is going to work, right? And not only that, but I believe in supporting your mate, right? Some people don't. Some people feel like the person should come ready made. No one's ready made. Like that's unrealistic. So for my ladies out there, I love you all, but like I just tell you, like no man is ready made. Every man is going through a struggle. Every man is going through some type of up and down, you know what I mean, within his life. So, don't look for that and say, "Oh, I deserve this man because of what?" You know, what happens is that you have to put the work in and actually make it happen. But again, everyone has different belief systems. And so once you understand yours when it comes down to the person that you're with, then you'll know and your belief system really lays the foundation of your relationship. It lays the foundation that, hey, me and you can actually work together. Me and you can actually build something that's stable. If your belief system is, I only want to go to the second floor, and the other person's belief system, I want to go to the 12th, how you go about building things is really going to determine, is really going to affect everything else. And so how you go about laying that foundation is going to be different. And so think about, okay, if we have the same belief system, it determines how far we're going to go. And sometimes you got to be honest with yourself. Hey, I'm really like a 3 to 6 month person. Hey, I'm really, the person who ride it all. ride it till the wheels fall off, you know? Um, or hey, I'm a person who, I say I love you, but don't mean it, right? Like, you know, or you might be a person where you love a person in theory, where it's like you love the idea of someone loving you, but you never really love that person. There's a lot of, belief systems out there. And, if y'all want me to go more in depth into belief system, please leave a comment below and I'll go more in depth for you guys so you can kind of know a little bit more about belief systems and the power it has on the growth and development of your relationship. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to uh the next question, or the next, description of how do you have a healthy relationship. So the next one is, do you know how to communicate in order to listen to each other verbally and non-verbally? Now I'm going to tell you this. Most times people say, you know, I want you to, I want like us to communicate, right? I want to talk, 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 talk. Women love talking, right? Um, and you might meet some guys that like talking too. So communication is important. And, but here's the thing about communication. Everything can get lost in translation, right? I'm sure even in me talking right now to you guys, there's only going to be something like probably one thing or maybe two that you'll take away from this. Because statistically, um, you know, when people communicate, what they communicate is all like people only retain 5% of anything that's verbally communicated. That means that majority of the things that you're really taking in is my responses, my laughter, my eyes, my facial expressions. That's really what you're taking in, and that's really what sinks in. And the feeling that's being conveyed through me talking, right? But what I'm saying, unless is where you're at, particularly in time, it's not going to pertain to you. It's not you're going to be like, I don't want to watch this, or this doesn't matter to me, right? And so that's the power of being verbal and nonverbal. Nonverbal is really when you have a woman who says, "Hey, I really wish that you could tell that something's wrong with me." And a lot of times, for some people, you might say, "Well, why can't you just tell me?" Because telling and trust me, I notice uh, telling someone how you feel. Um, when you've maybe spent time with them or years, or you've talked to them on numerous occasions, telling someone how you feel sometimes can easily make you feel like you're in a relationship with a stranger. And I know y'all saying, yeah, thank you. But it can make you feel like that if you have to communicate it. Because the goal is really to get to a place in your relationship where you have a nonverbal communication, meaning that, and that nonverbal communication comes from, it's where trust is built, it's where love is built, real love. It's where understanding is built, right? If you're talking to a person and you can tell like by the look in their eye or their body language or just, them not really being present, sometimes they might need you to say, "Hey, you all right?" And it's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm fine." And it's just like, "No, no, 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 like, no. Are you okay?" That is non-verbal because it seems like something's off, and I just want to make sure that you're okay. Um, and then they usually say, "Okay, well, I'm not okay, but I'll be all right." Okay, well, listen, if you're not okay, it's okay if you're not okay. If you need to talk, I'll be here to listen to you. I won't say anything, I promise. And sometimes people need to hear that. Like, we live in a world that is just so full of stress and everything like that, that talking about our emotions and feelings is like taboo. It's like, what are you talking about? You're depressed, you're sad, you're lonely. What? What's wrong with you? But the truth is that we all are going through things. And we're going through real things internally. And we're going through things that, most people just don't it's hard to explain because when you're getting bombarded by emotions within yourself, and then you have to figure out a way to formulate a word and a cohesive sentence that actually makes sense. Um, you're probably gonna be like, man, you know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing. So now what happens is you become depressed, you become sad, right? And so a lot of times it's like, yes, when you're in a relationship, the key is really like, yes, in the beginning, is to be verbal, is to communicate in a way where you understand like what bothers this person, right? But then eventually it'll come a time where, the goal is to get to the point where you're nonverbal. Because that's where love is built. That's where understanding is built. That's where trust is built, because if you're at a place now in your relationship where you still have to communicate, like now I'm not saying there, be nonverbal, like, basically your whole relationship is a mime and now you're just walking like, "Ugh," like, But what I'm saying is that you have to get to a place when it comes down to things that like there's a real issue that you can sense, because that's how you build your relationships. That's how you maintain them. Is getting to a place where your relationship is nonverbal. Now, if it comes to stuff like, "Hey, babe, I'm going to pay the lecture bill," or "We're going to talk about this, talk about that," that's fine. But when it comes down to things that are traumatic or bothering someone, and they might not have the energy to articulate it, or they might not have the emotion behind it to articulate it, and so sometimes they might need you to know, like just to know. And you might say, well, how am I supposed to know? Sometimes it's not about you saying anything. It's as simple as, hey, you know what? Let me hold you for a minute. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just hold her for a minute. Or even for my ladies out there, your man need to be held too. Don't get it twisted. All right. He be getting lonely. He might be acting on machismo outside. All right. But like, it's a cold world out there. Men gotta work. So hold him. Be like, I know you had a hard day. Let me just hold you for a minute. You know what I mean? Now, it doesn't mean that, because sometimes what you say, or even what you physically buy people, you know, that's not what people need. Sometimes people, at the end of the day, the reason why they got in a relationship is to feel connected with someone. That's the whole purpose of a relationship, is to be connected. And if you're with a person and you're not connected, most times when people cheat, it's usually because they're looking for that connection, because they feel disconnected with the person that they're with. So the question you really have to ask yourself is making sure that in developing your relationship, to make sure that you are connected verbally and non-verbally, because that's the essential to maintaining your relationship. That's the most essential thing to maintaining your relationship. All right. So we're going to move on to our next question, which is, do you try to keep do you try to keep your sex no, do you try to keep sex appeal to maintain your sexual desire for each other? Okay. So, this is important. Now, you know, um now I'm sure for some of you, you might be like, I want the person I'm with to accept me for who I am. Okay. But here's the thing. Um for men, if a girl tells you, because I've had this happen to me, you know. If a girl tells you that you look cute with your stomach, or that I like big guys, right? Um, you you have to ask yourself, why is she with you, right? And you might say to yourself, at first you'll probably be like, yeah, I'm a big guy, so it's cool. I don't gotta go to the gym. I don't gotta try to stay in shape. I don't gotta try to stay alive. But the truth is this: what she's saying is based upon her own comfort. It don't change the fact that she might see Michael B. Jordan with abs, right? She might look at him and be like, "Ah, yeah, let's go see Creed 3. I really want to go see Creed 3." And you thinking to yourself, "Man, I don't look like nothing like him at all." You understand what I'm saying? Like I'll never. It's gonna take me. It's gonna take me months, even years, to look like him. And so you're thinking to yourself, "Man, is she not attracted to me, right? Sexually?" Men get insecure too. So ladies, don't get it twisted. Men get insecure, and we get insecure because um we know we big, or we know we're like small. I met guys where they're super small. Um so they have to compensate with confidence and things like that. But the thing is that you have to really think about this. Um Sex appeal doesn't just come from how you look. You have to have the ability to and confidence to make sure that you and your person are attracted to each other. You have to, because if you don't maintain that, man, I'm telling you, man, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Like, you got to maintain that attraction. Even for women, like, a lot of times, like, women might be feeling insecure, and everybody's shaped differently. You know what I mean? So everybody's not meant to be like super quadruple small, or even meant to be like super duper curvy or whatever. Everybody's shaped differently. But sex appeal is something that's internal. And what amplifies that is your ability not only to have the confidence internally to love yourself internally, but also love yourself externally. And the one thing about when you're in relationships is that you have to maintain that sexual attraction to each other, right? Because that's the key, because that's the key. Like, you have to maintain that chemistry, right? Because yes, there's a part of it where, hey, I like having a conversation with you. Hey, this is great. You can hold me, great. But then there's an animalistic side that comes out of each person, male and female, that just be like, roar, right? So now you, so now you're in this, you want to have that person that pulls that out of you, that makes you be like, yo, okay, you know what I mean? We gonna go straight Lion King tonight, right? And you need to have that. You need to have that. You need to maintain that. Not for other people, because a lot of times people do things, oh, well, I'm just gonna do it for me. No, do it for your partner too. Do it for your partner too. Because here's the thing about maintaining relationships. If you don't, okay, you're gonna be broke or alone. Okay? Let's say, for example, a woman breaks up with a guy. Not a bad guy, the relationship just ends. Her confidence boosts up, right? She believes that she can get out here, get any man she wants. Okay, cool. Here's the thing I will tell any woman. You will always have a man that will sleep with you, but you will not always have a man that will want to be with you. Okay? And the value of a man socially is his value as a man. um it will affect your status as a woman. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to fight it or not, that's fine, but it will affect your status. And the reason why it will affect your status is because, I've had a person where they were in a relationship, left the person, and now, you know, um the girl thought, man, okay, well, I'm single now, so I can get any guy I want. Or she thought that her friends really cared about um what she had in her life, and they really didn't. It was really because she was in a relationship. And sometimes, like, you might not realize this, but sometimes, like, when you're in a relationship with a man, he has value, right? His value is a social value. His value is a status value. It's not like a value like how, like, for women, they give you children, they provide, they give you love. They're very extremely supportive. So you might have a woman where her value comes in there. But then for a man, you might have where his value comes in his ability to protect and provide, um, and to really show love if he is capable of knowing how to do it the right way. And so, that's really the key. So when you have, relationships where, you and that person don't maintain that sexual attraction, um, that connection is really what's going to bond you. For a man, if he doesn't sleep with you, like ladies, I know at times where you might be like, I'm not in the mood. Okay. I'm not the one to say, I'm not going to say, don't not be in the mood, right? I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is this: I want you to imagine that for men, physical connection it really determines if you really love them or not, right? If you really are still attracted to them, if they're still valuable to you. Because here's the thing: women live in a world of emotions, right? And because emotions can fluctuate, and because the world is driven around like literally protecting women, um, men, their sense of value comes from their ability to receive that love, right? So for women, it's like, for guys, it's like, okay, if she is not sleeping with me, who's she sleeping with, right? Um, you know, and that's the thing. If she's not attracting me, then who she's interested in. And so those are the factors where you have to look at. Is this person you're with, um, realistically, are they a good fit for you? That's really the main thing. Are they a good fit for you? Is this person you're with, is, you know, are they at a place where they're like, okay, do they want to maintain that sexual chemistry and that sexual attraction to me, and to maintain this relationship? Because sometimes some people they weaponize sex. Sex is not designed as a weapon. So I know women weaponize it, but it's not designed as that. It was designed as a way of creating spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bonding, right? So when you eliminate that, you're saying to your person who you're with, I don't love you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You're denying that person access to love you. And sometimes, I'm not saying at the end of the day you got to do it all the time, but sometimes you have to understand that's what it's like for a man. Now, for a woman, I understand it's like, why would I want this heavy man breathing all over me? Right? Right? Or why would I want, yeah, I'm not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood. And a lot of times for women, they're not in the mood because women live in a world of fantasy. And because women live in a world of fantasy, if they're not stimulated mentally, of course they're not going to be in the mood, because their decision making is based around that, which is them being stimulated mentally. If they're not stimulated mentally, they're not going to be in the mood, right? If they see themselves as, oh, I'm sloppy, or I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that, they're going to be like, why would you want to be with me? I look like this. I'm not the girl in the commercials, or I'm not this or that. I look like this. But if they have a fantasy in their mind, they can pretend. And so when a girl says she's not in the mood, usually it's just because of the fact that she hasn't been stimulated mentally, right? And because she hasn't been stimulated mentally, because women are led by their emotions, and because their emotions really control their body, um, you have to, understand that if she's not stimulated mentally, of course she's not going to have sex with you. That's just real rap what it is. And sometimes sex is not necessarily everything for a woman. Sometimes it's stimulation comes from, hey, let me hold you. Hey, I just, before we go to bed, I just want to tell you I love you. Like stimulation is like, hey, I got you some flowers, or hey, you send her a text, sexy text, you know what I mean? Hey, when we go home, girl, I'm trying to tell you. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like that, it anticipate, because women are led by, they have this need of, like, I call it like the carrot, the carrot on a stick thing, and women are led by that. So if you create that carrot for them mentally, yes, they'll be drawn to you sexually. Um, and so you just have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with a woman. That yes, if she's probably turning you down, she's probably turning you down for because she hasn't been stimulated. You understand what I'm saying? It's like she needs that. And if you want me to go a little bit more into that, please, comment below, and I'll go a little bit more of a deep dive into the mindset of a woman. And if you guys need it, let me know. If you want to understand it from a guy's perspective, feel free. Let me know. I'll be happy to share that. And yeah, yeah. So we're gonna jump into. So before I roll, I'm just gonna let you guys know, like, maintain that sexual attraction. It's really simple. Just work on yourself. Work on loving each other. Work on growth, health wise and other reasons. Like, I even know for me, like, I'm working on that for myself. So it's a process for everyone. Nobody's perfect, but just work on it. You know what I mean? And just understand that sexual attraction comes internally. So make sure that you maintain that bond with that person. Don't deprive them of that, because that's the whole point of being in a relationship. Other than that, if somebody, they might as well just be alone. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's good to have that time where you can actually, communicate. Um, yeah. So I'm going to jump into the next one. So the next question is, which is, wow, this is actually our last one. So our last one is, do you and your person both have the same love language? Now, your love language, man, I've seen a lot of relationships end on this one. But your love language it's really like, are you a romantic? Do you need to feel that this person genuinely wants to be with you? Do you feel that they genuinely love you? Can you want them to hold you? Do you want them to, are they kind of creating that movie moment for you? Are they that is their love language like that? Then you might have some people where their love language is more cerebral. Well, they just like to talk all the time, and they like some type of stimulation, and they like to view normal, like sometimes viewing sentimental emotions as like some type of foreplay, right? So there's some people where they have a little bit of mixture of both. And so you have to kind of determine what your love language is. What do you need? Like, do you need affirmations? Do you need to be held? Do you need, um, how much attention do you need? Right? Um, you know, those are key things that really will help maintain any relationship that you're trying to be in. But the main thing you really have to look at is the person that you're with, do they have a similar love language? If they don't, uh, it can make the relationship a little bit harder. Well, you have to try a little bit more. You have to, really, really communicate. Like, how I was talking about earlier, where you have to develop non-verbal and nonverbal. Well, you really have to communicate a lot with certain people in order to get to a place where you're actually having a non-verbal relationship. But non-verbal relationship is the goal, because the non-verbal relationship means that you and that person are connected subconsciously, not just consciously, but subconsciously. and that's the most beautiful connection you can ever have. Um, but what I will tell you is, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you and that person, again, y'all have the same love language. That love language, um, as human beings, we have moments of insecurity. We have moments of wondering if we're good enough. We have moments of wondering if the person that we're with is going to, could potentially cheat on us or with someone else. You know what I mean? And so if that person doesn't have the same love language, that can change things. Now you might say, well, what's the difference between the belief systems and your love language? Well, again, your belief system, it lays the foundation. Your love language determines how far it's going to go. That's really what it does. Like, belief system lays the foundation. Hey, I believe in this. Oh, I believe in the same thing. Okay, cool. How do you love? How do you see love? Oh, I see love like this. Okay, cool. But then now your love language is, okay, now how do you communicate? What makes you communicate best? Oh, I communicate best with you holding my hand and letting people know that I matter to you. Or I communicate best where me and you are like homies, like we're best friends in a relationship. Or I communicate best where, you know, um, you treat me like a roommate. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the person. So sometimes you have to really make sure that whoever you're with, that this person is can communicate the same way you can. Because other than that, things can get lost in translation heavily. Um, it just can. It can get lost in translation because a lot of times people are just either they're not trying to be understanding. They don't have it in them to be able to, you know, maybe you're emotional and they're not that emotional. They're more cerebral, or they respond more from their response as far as love language is more physical or sexual than it is more emotional and sentimental. So again, it just depends on the person. And so you really have to make sure that the person that you're with, um, is a good fit for you. And ultimately, like I said, like these are the main five things that kind of help with maintaining relationships. If this was able to help you guys in any way, shape, or form, um, please, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys, checking out our, this channel, and then helping, not only support the channel, but also helping me to be able to helps me to be able to support all the other people that I work with and the community I'm trying to build here in order to be able to help other people. Again, this community is designed for me to kind of, you know, from my trial and errors as an entrepreneur, as an artist, is helping other people to fulfill their dreams and to make things actually happen. So, whether it was in your personal life or your professional life, this is pretty much what I do. So, again, I appreciate you guys. Again, if you have any questions or you want me to cover anything, please feel free to leave a comment to let me know. Say, hey, listen, I'm going through my relationship. My girl just blah 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 blah. I don't know what to do with myself. Um, don't worry. I'll make sure I create something for you so you can kind of help you. All right. I'm kind of like want to use this channel as like a little prescription to help you through what you're going through. So, and if you're interested in working with me, um, I'll leave a link up above so you guys can check it out. And yeah, all right. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Peace.